Right now, a strange and potentially dangerous case Madison police are hoping to solve. We're live downtown where people say someone was tossing hundreds of needles.
Also building confidence by clearing up confusion. It's the quest elections experts are on as we race toward the fall elections.
And Russia's war on Ukraine hits home with the death of a former U.S. Marine. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. A bizarre story on State Street tonight. Madison police tell us they received a number of calls from people yesterday who either found or watched a man drop hundreds of hypodermic needles on the ground.
He didn't just do it on State Street. Madison police say needles were also found on East Wash and Mifflin Street, as well as at Peace Park. Our Brad Hamilton went to all three today, and he's live downtown. Brad?
Susan and Eric, odd is the adjective one man described seeing a bunch of needles scattered all around the ground on State Street yesterday. We also know now that there were needles found on two other streets, Mifflin Street and also East Washington Avenue. Madison police say they are currently reviewing city cameras in hopes of being able to identify the suspect. There is probable cause to arrest one person, but that arrest has not been made. One witness told dispatchers a man was saying, "You are all going to die," while tossing these needles on the ground.
Yeah, Peace Park, there was a dozen different those needles, and it might be somebody's sense of joke or something, but it can be a serious issue out this way.
We got a chance to speak with an officer who says she was out patrolling the area today and making sure that no other needles were found on the ground. Police have not released any suspect identity, anything that we can make up right now, but coming up at 6, we're going to hear more from people downtown, and we're actually going to hear from public health as well on what you should do if you find one of these needles.
All right, Brad Hamilton live on State Street. Brad, thank you. New at 5, Kevin Todd, the 23-year-old accused of shooting and killing a coworker in Janesville this week, is being held tonight on a $1 million cash bail. A Rock County commissioner set the high bail during a brief hearing this afternoon. Todd was also formally charged today with 1 count of first-degree intentional homicide and 3 counts of reckless endangerment for the shooting at Precision Drawn Metals on Tuesday. Todd claimed he was being bullied at work. He had just started the job the previous week. Todd will be back in court next week. Well, if you're heading out this weekend, you might want to take an umbrella. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti on the weather patio with your certified most accurate forecast. Gary?
Not raining yet, Eric, but the rain is not too far away. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. We've been underneath cloud cover most of the day, but it's generally been dry and a little milder too, because winds have been picking up out of the southeast. It's actually a lot more milder to the south and west, where you can see some showers now moving into southwestern Wisconsin, heading northeastward. Eventually there'll be some thunderstorms there. Severe weather off the map to the south and west. You can see the leading edge of the showers just into the western portion of Dane County. Not raining here yet, but it should be just about any point on high resolution radar. And you can see low temperatures this morning started out a little milder, right around 40 degrees in Madison, some upper 30s to the north and west, but high temperatures so far today have made it into the 60s away from Lake Michigan. Mid-50s in Milwaukee, mid-60s in Madison, low to mid-60s elsewhere across southern Wisconsin. And right now temperatures are between about 60 and 65 for most of our viewing area. By tomorrow morning, we'll be down to 48 degrees. Look for some scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight and showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. It'll be windy not only for tonight but for tomorrow as well, with a high temperature of 60. Later on, I'll take a look at cooler weather and also the possibility for any severe weather for tomorrow.
All right, Gary, thank you. The family of a 22-year-old U.S. Marine veteran says he was killed while fighting along international forces in Ukraine. Willie Joseph Cancel is believed to have joined the conflict in March. He leaves behind a wife and infant son. A journalist with the U.S.-funded Radio Free Europe was also killed after Russian airstrikes hit her apartment across the street from where the UN Secretary General was staying during his visit in Kyiv. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials say they're trying to rescue civilians trapped in a besieged steel plant in Mariupol.
It's difficult to look at some of the images and imagine that any well-thinking, serious, mature leader would do that.
The president is expected to sign the Lend-Lease Act after it was passed by the House. That bill will allow the U.S. to lend or lease military supplies and weapons to Ukraine.
Police say one person involved in a car crash on Madison's west side yesterday has now died. That crash happened about 2:15 yesterday morning on Whitney Way after the car crashed into a tree. 2 adults were taken to the hospital with very significant injuries. The second person's condition and what caused the crash remain unclear.
It is a small but slowly growing growing numbers. Some Republican state lawmakers are saying publicly that the Michael Gableman-led investigation of the 2020 election needs to end.
And today, that number includes now retiring Senator Dale Coenga, who told Naomi Coles on For the Record that the investigation has run its course. Naomi?
Coenga announced his retirement from the Senate this week after more than a decade in the legislature. In an outgoing interview, I asked him about the investigation, which Assembly Speaker Robin Vos extended this week after multiple deadlines to end have come and gone. Few Republicans have opposed the investigation publicly, but now as he prepares to leave, the reliably conservative senator says it's time to move on.
From the speaker's perspective, you have to understand what the speaker's job is, which is why a lot of speakers are not very popular. And that is, speakers are always trying to form a very, very wide coalition across a party to keep that party together. So, I'll let the Assembly do what the Assembly does. I'm in the Senate. But personally, I, probably err on the side that's probably run its course and it's time to move on.
Coenga has become the 30th state lawmaker to announce they're leaving at the end of this cycle, marking the highest number of retiring lawmakers from the legislature since 1954. On For the Record this Sunday, that's after Face the Nation, Coenga opens up about how he believes politics have gotten too toxic and extreme since he was first elected in 2010.
I look forward to that, Naomi. Thank you. With the midterms quickly approaching, we still haven't put the 2020 election to rest, at least in many people's minds. So how will local officials ensure confidence in the next election?
This was the challenge that a UW-Madison panel addressed today. Political reporter Will Keneally has more on what they discussed. Will?
So election officials are trying to ensure confidence in the November election. A big part of this is explaining potentially confusing things people may observe, see, or hear about. As Rebecca Green, a law professor at William & Mary, describes, it's quite the delicate dance.
There's a central tension at the heart of election transparency, which is how do we make sure that elections are transparent without feeding public mistrust? It may seem like that's not a tension at all because making elections transparent builds trust. That's sort of a fundamental aspect of our system.
She used as an example something called ballot duplication. That's when officials replicate a ballot if, for example, coffee is spilled on it and it can't be fed through a machine. If an official live streams that process without the context of what's going on, voters may be confused by what they see. She said helping to better explain to voters the election process, even the minutia of what to do with a coffee-stained ballot, can prevent that confusion. All this before the election, though, so you don't have to deal with those corrections after the fact.
Will, thank you. FDA advisors are scheduled to meet in June to discuss Novavax's request for an emergency use authorization for its COVID-19 vaccine. Novavax submitted an emergency use request in January. The vaccine is administered as 2 doses, 3 weeks apart. Unlike Pfizer and Moderna's mRNA vaccines, Novavax took a more traditional approach, using small laboratory-built pieces of the coronavirus to stimulate immunity.
Jefferson County residents met with U.S. Senate candidate Tom Nelson and expressed concern about the avian bird flu and how it's affecting them. That crisis led to the killings of millions of birds in a nearby poultry operation and possible contamination of the water supply. Palmyra residents are most concerned about the composting of millions of those birds after an outbreak at Cold Spring egg farms. The birds had to be composted at a location outside of the farm because such a large quantity of birds were infected.
I've heard from the residents that it shouldn't have been allowed to happen in the first place. They should not have been allowed to have that many birds in an area where they could not dispose of them. But that ship sailed a long time ago, so.
A public information officer with the State Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection has said the composting of the birds was the correct way to go, and those residents shouldn't be worried about the contamination.
You only have 2 days left to vote for Best of Madison. The final voting period ends tomorrow. You can only vote once per category, so consider your pick and make your vote count. The Best of Madison poll will qualify vote-getters residing throughout Dane County, plus cities in other surrounding counties. For more information and to vote, look for this story on our homepage on channel3000.com.
Next at 5, Oklahoma, the latest state to restrict abortion access.
And the Supreme Court is considering a case that could change the way this country has regulated abortion for half a century. Plus, a civil war is brewing in Wisconsin's Republican Party. We'll have more on the GOP divide coming up at 6.
Another brutal close to the week for the Dow, falling another 939 points. The NASDAQ off 537. S&P now with its worst start to a year in 83 years, down 157 points. We'll be right back.
The lowest prices of the season sale is happening now at Furniture and Appliance Mart. Save up to 40% off clearance and special buy appliances. Plus, pay no interest for 36 months. Only at Furniture and Appliance Mart. Inside Ashley off the Beltline in East Springs Drive.
Get your outdoor projects done right with Menards. With the largest selection of treated lumber anywhere and the inventory to back it up. Now's the time to get that outdoor project you've been meaning to get to done. Best yet, we've made it convenient for you to get in and get out, whichever the project. Menards has the treated lumber to get it done.
Save big money at Menards.
When you drive a Honda, the adventures go on and on. Follow your adventures with the rugged power of Honda. The brand owners are calling the most fun to drive. Hurry into a local Honda dealer where new vehicles are arriving daily.
Only your locally owned Cub Cadet dealer has genuine parts, accessories, trained service technicians, and the widest selection of industry-leading Cub Cadet products. We're here for you whenever you need us, with expert service and support to keep your equipment running at peak performance for years to come. Take advantage of exceptional financing offers from your local Cub Cadet dealer today. To find the dealer near you, visit cubcadetdealers.com.
Hey everybody, who's coming to the big show? Meet me at Rebates, Saturday, June 11th at Oakshot Gaming and Casino in Wisconsin Dells for an all-day outdoor event. Come out for classic cars, trucks, and motorcycles during the day and stay for the concert at night. Featuring country superstar Trace Atkins, Runaway June, The Mascot Theory, and Beth Killyman. All benefiting heat and housing for heroes. Visit vetawi.com for more details.
The lowest prices of the season sale is happening now at Ashley. Up to 64% off hot new looks. Plus, get an additional 10% off at checkout. Doorbuster savings throughout the store. And pay no interest for 36 months. Only at Ashley.
Why somebody would do that for sport would be a serious thing out this way, yeah.
Why did a man scatter hypodermic needles on the street in downtown Madison Thursday? We'll have more on this strange incident tonight on News 3 Now at 6.
Need emergency weather alerts before conditions turn bad? Download the First Warn Weather app right now. Turn on the notifications and that will alert you when severe weather threatens.
The First Warn Weather app. Get it now. Powered by News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
The battle between former President Donald Trump and the New York Attorney General continues. Months ago, the AG asked the former president to turn over documents for a civil tax fraud investigation into his company's financial practices. She says there were multiple misleading or fraudulent statements and omissions in the Trump Organization's financial records. Today, in a signed affidavit, Mr. Trump said he doesn't have those documents. Earlier this week, the judge in the case held him in civil contempt and fined him $10,000 a day for not turning over the documents. He has appealed that order.
President Joe Biden says he plans to announce his decision on federal student loan relief within the next couple of weeks. Americans have an estimated $1.6 trillion now in student loan debt. The president campaigned on forgiving $10,000 per borrower and making community college free, but he hasn't been able to do those things yet. Members of the Democratic Party are asking him to forgive $50,000 per student.
I am not considering $50,000 debt reduction, but I'm in the process of taking a hard look at whether or not there will be additional debt forgiveness.
Now, the catch with loan forgiveness is inflation. Canceling all federal student loan debt could increase the inflation rate by 0.1 to 0.5% over a year's time. The Federal Reserve says it plans to raise interest rates to control inflation. That has some economists worried about a recession.
Lawmakers in Oklahoma have passed a new measure restricting abortion access as the Supreme Court considers a case that could lead to the court overturning Roe v. Wade. Deborah Alfarone reports from the Supreme Court.
Oklahoma's governor is expected to sign a Texas-style abortion ban in the coming days after the state's Republican-led House approved the bill Thursday.
We would like to completely stop abortions except for the life of the mother.
This law will have a catastrophic impact on Oklahomans.
The legislation prohibits the procedure after cardiac activity is detected, usually around the 6th week of pregnancy. Lawmakers are also working to approve another law to ban all abortions with a few exceptions. Both measures allow private citizens to sue abortion providers for up to $10,000.
Oklahoma definitely doesn't want to be a destination state for abortions. We would like
Oklahoma State Representative Todd Russ is one of the bill's sponsors.
It just seems that over the years, abortion's become an alternative form of birth control. I hope it raises the personal responsibility for people that are maybe choosing a lifestyle that's not helpful for saving babies' lives.
Oklahoma is one of an increasing number of states passing restrictive abortion laws.
We have a growing desert of abortion care, and we know that abortion care is essential to people's ability to direct their own lives.
Many of these laws come as the U.S. Supreme Court considers a Mississippi case that could possibly overturn Roe v. Wade, the landmark decision preventing states from banning abortions.
It's galvanized young people.
History professor Jennifer Holland says today's anti-abortion movement is framing the issue as defending justice.
And has made it feel urgent to talk about this as a civil rights campaign.
The High Court's decision is expected by the end of June. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
The Oklahoma laws, once signed, would take effect immediately, not only for women in Oklahoma, but for Texans driving to the state for the procedure.
This Arbor Day, local businesses got together to plant some trees at Devil's Lake State Park. The Arbor Day planting was a volunteer effort from around 40 staff and client volunteers who share passion and appreciation for the park. A variety of trees were planted, including white oak, ironwood, hybrid elm, and linden, among others.
There's some mature trees here, but it's good to keep a succession of trees going. So as some of those mature trees either fall to disease or storm damage, you already have a second layer growing up.
And today, those volunteers planted 80 trees in all. It's a little warmer out there for outdoor activities today. Let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast. Here's Gary.
But that's about where our temperature should be, and we're not going to stay this mild beyond tomorrow. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. Look for some showers and thunderstorms from tonight through Saturday evening, and it'll be windy through that time period as well. Then look for cool weather to return back next week. Temperatures go back into the 50s, and we'll see some showers from Monday night into Tuesday. Could even be a couple of thunderstorms in there, and then some shower chances from Thursday afternoon into Friday. Big severe weather outbreak, a possibility this evening across parts of Nebraska and Kansas. Moderate risk of severe thunderstorms there, an enhanced risk through much of southern Kansas into parts of Missouri and Nebraska. Tornado threat, highest just to the west of Kansas City, centered around Topeka, Kansas, and up toward Lincoln, Nebraska. It could be a nasty night there for that. Already tornado watches in effect from Nebraska all the way down into parts of Oklahoma and Texas. That's where the severe weather is occurring. For us, we're just looking at some rain showers, but eventually we'll start to see some flashes of lightning developing. You can see the next round of showers up around Des Moines, Iowa, and eventually there'll be some thunderstorms there. Tomorrow, the severe weather threat shifts to the north and east and does cover parts of southern Wisconsin. Storm Prediction Center has a level 2 or slight risk of severe thunderstorms south and east of Madison into northern Illinois, a marginal risk from Madison northward. It's kind of conditional on how these thunderstorms will develop. If we have enough cloud cover and temperatures stay a little cooler, that would pretty much negate the severe weather threat. Should we see some breaks in the clouds or the cold front come through a little bit later where temperatures can get a little warmer, then the severe weather threat would be a little higher. And there is a risk, at least for a couple of isolated tornadoes from southeastern Wisconsin into northeastern Illinois, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. The rainfall, not too much, not too little. We've been very lucky as far as the rainfall this spring. No real problems with flooding around here, but a general half-inch to 3/4 inch rainfall expected through early Monday morning. That's helping the drought conditions. Still abnormally dry conditions now in southern Wisconsin, but notice that moderate and severe drought pretty much out of this area. Farther to the west, though, it continues across parts of Nebraska into Kansas and Texas. Exceptional drought conditions in the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. And what's not helping the situation is behind those thunderstorms, dry conditions and high winds, high wind warnings and wind advisories. That could lead to high fire dangers there. But this whole storm system is developing because you have 80s to the south, 50s and 40s to the north. Dew point temperatures climbing now to near 60 60 up as far as Omaha, Nebraska, and you can see the storm coming together. That's where the severe weather will break out today. We'll have to see whether or not it can reach us tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow, scattered showers and thunderstorms. It'll be windy, high temperature at 60. Future track shows some showers and isolated thunderstorms tonight and a couple of waves. Temperatures dropping into the upper 40s. Tomorrow, this is where that cold front is. You can see thunderstorms right along that front. But once the front moves through, the severe weather threat comes to an end. Temperatures turn cooler for Sunday with high temperatures only in the lower to middle 50s and just a chance of showers. And again, rainfall amounts generally about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch. 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures in the 50s next week. Wednesday and Monday mainly dry, but some shower and thunderstorm chances the other days. And then you can see that slow warming trend as we get into next weekend. As we check out first warn traffic, Beltline, it's a Friday. This is near Fish Hatchery Road. Traffic slow in both directions at that point. We're seeing delays eastbound Beltline from Monona Drive to west of Verona Road. Westbound, we're seeing delays from around Todd Drive back to Park Street. Travel times right now, 25 minutes on the eastbound Beltline, 18 minutes on the westbound Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. No problems on I-3990 from the Beltline to Janesville. US 12 Middleton to Sauk City is a quick 16 minutes. Downtown to Sun Prairie, East Washington Avenue, and US 151 will take you 17 minutes. That's your News 3 Now First Warn traffic.
Thank you, Gary. Coming up, how a new documentary from Oprah Winfrey addresses inequities in our healthcare system. That story's next at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Everything we love about Wisconsin is under attack. As an Army commander, I served God, family, and country. But the media, they say none of that matters anymore. When I was a kid, every day at school, I took the pledge. In the service, I took an oath. But today, people take a knee. When I was 9 years old, my dad handed me a shovel and put me to work. Nowadays, people get paid to sit on the couch. And back then, you called somebody lazy, it was a huge insult. But today, you get a pronoun wrong, and the liberals want your head. I'm Tim Michels. The radical left, they're destroying everything we love about America. And too many establishment Republicans, they're along for the ride. I'm not some career politician. I'm a self-made businessman who doesn't give a rip about the special interests or their money. I'm Tim Michels. I'm running for governor to turn Madison upside down and take back the freedoms that make Wisconsin great.
Tim Michels for governor. He'll turn Madison upside down.
We're not just massage envy. We're also facials that get your skin glowing envy. We're talking, dang girl, you look good kind of envy.
All right, tell me your secret and lunch is on me.
This Mother's Day, buy one 60-minute facial session and get a second session free. Massage Envy Facials, where better begins.
Enough! This doom and gloom ends now.
It's time for a brighter view. Let the sun shine in with 2-for-1 windows from Feldco. Plus, no interest until 2023.
2-for-1 windows from Feldco ends Saturday. Hurry. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Like an eagle protects his head.
We all need a rock we can rely on. To be strong. To overcome anything. To be unstoppable. That's why millions rely on the strength and financial guidance of Prudential to achieve their dreams. Who's your rock?
Impatience is a virtue. When you know what you want, waiting isn't an option.
New Balance Madison, we got now.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Pandemic brought racial inequities in our healthcare system to the forefront.
Now Oprah Winfrey's new documentary, The Color of Care, exposes those disparities. CBS correspondent Danya Backus has more.
I read a story that haunted me.
The Color of Care exposes a national health crisis, one brought to light by the COVID-19 pandemic. It features first-hand accounts from those who lost loved ones to the coronavirus.
She said, let me go to the hospital and I'll be right back.
And traces the origins of racial health disparities to chronicle how people of color suffer from systemically substandard health care in the United States. Yancey Ford is the director.
I have to say that the history that's in the film about where the inequities in medicine come from, that history was new to me, as it will be to anyone who watches the film on Sunday. And so to learn those lessons was difficult.
Healthcare experts like Dr. Hetty Cunningham speak to how embedded racism plays a role in healthcare. She says the documentary goes beyond the statistics.
Every time you hear a story, you're reminded of the humanity behind the numbers.
The Smithsonian Channel and Oprah Winfrey's Harpo Productions partnered to release the documentary that looks to be the start of a reckoning around health equity.
What are you hoping will be the impact that this has on the community and also the nation?
I think that if we can start to get to a place where we all see each other first as humans and deserving of the kind of care that we would like to receive, that we can actually make some headway on this.
I think that our country places a very high premium on fairness. We see ourselves as a fair and equal society, and this film really starts to say, maybe we need to take a closer look at that.
They want the film to create a deeper understanding of what changes are needed to serve all. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The Color of Care is launching a year-long campaign bringing together impacted communities with medical schools, healthcare workers, and policymakers to find equitable solutions. We'll get a final check on your weekend forecast when we come back.
You're watching Madison's fastest growing newscast. News 3 Now at 5.
We're USA Insulation, and our premium injection foam turns your cold and drafty house into a warm and toasty home. Call now and save $500 on whole home insulation.
USA Insulation.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and it's time to add the perfect accessories to your new Chevy. Make it bolder. Make it work harder. Make it your own. Find new possibilities. Find new roads. Very well-qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy pickup trucks. Plus, now during Truck Month, get a $1,000 accessory allowance toward the eligible purchase of a new Chevy truck with accessories. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
With broken supply chains and lives disrupted, businesses like Amazon have invested to deliver on time for you and help hundreds of thousands of small businesses gain access to millions of online shoppers. But Washington politicians have a law that could break Prime's guaranteed 2-day free delivery and threaten our fragile economic recovery. Tell your senators, don't break our Prime. Oppose S 2992. Paid for by CCIA.
Shop the Spring Savings Double Up Sale for double rebates on our most popular appliance and grill brands. Shop in-stock specials like this Amana top-load washer for just $5.48. This KitchenAid dishwasher for just $7.98. This GE convection range with air fry for just $8.98. Or this LG 25 cubic foot French door refrigerator for just $14.98. Shop GrandAppliance.com or a store near you. Grand Appliance, the appliance experts.
When an inland hurricane called the derecho cut a path through the Midwest, we learned some lessons. We learned that most buildings cannot withstand 140-mile-per-hour winds, not to mention most oak trees. We learned that when your roof is gone or there's a tree in your living room, even 8 hours is too long to wait. But most of all, we learned that in hardship, people take care of each other. And that has been our silver lining.
Trust your feet to Morgan's shoes.
Birkenstock, a trusted name you've come to know, is back in stock. Birkenstock is footwear built for adventure, all-day play, and even an effortless wedge. A new heel with the same great feel. With nearly 250 years in the fine art of shoemaking, choosing Birkenstock means choosing the best in quality, comfort, and craftsmanship.
Comfort with style. Trust your feet to Morgan Shoes.
Morgan Shoes, Hilldale.
We're USA Insulation, and our premium injection foam turns your cold and drafty house into a warm and toasty home. Call now and save $500 on whole home insulation.
USA Insulation.
On this Friday night, Oklahoma becomes the latest state to approve a law banning abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. Tonight, the fallout and a look ahead to the Supreme Court battle over Roe versus Wade. Plus, the severe weather battering millions of Americans, high winds, rain, and even possible tornadoes. The danger is forecast. And we go on the road with a very special snowman who melted children's hearts. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Well, here you go. Tropicana making a cereal specifically intended so you can mix your orange juice with it instead of milk. The cereal features granola and it's chock full of honey almond clusters.
You can only get it on Tropicana's website, but they're so excited for you to try it. The Tropicana folks are giving away free boxes through May 4th, which is National Orange Juice Day.
Got to try it, right?
That
Every
sounds
little
gross.
kid wondered how it would taste. Let's go to Gary. Final check.
What will they think of next? Well, we've got some showers coming in from the southwest. They'll be moving through much of southern Wisconsin this evening. Temperatures right now around 60. It's a little cooler where the rain has started over southwestern Wisconsin. Look for a low tonight of about 48. High tomorrow of 60 with some more thunderstorms.
Well, CBS Evening News, of course, is next. And we're back in 30 minutes with News 3 Now at 6.